Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, 4 former Calypso monarchs advance to the semi-finals. Ross layoffs begin to impact real people and livelihoods in Portsmouth, and Dominica poised to advance its geothermal energy project post-Maria. I'll be back with the details of the news in just a moment.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
First stop in the news, 4 former Calypso monarchs are through to the semi-final round of the 2018 Calypso competition. When the dust settled on the Newtown Savannah early Sunday morning, only 20 remained standing to continue the journey to the third leg of the 2018 Calypso competition. Unfortunately, none of the first-timers to the quarterfinals round were able to pass the second stage of competition and will have to return to square one, that is the eliminations in 2019. However, 8-time Calypso King Denison Dice Joseph with his rendition Looters, 3-time King Andrew Scrunter Basil singing Scrunter Must Go Back, 2-time King Davidson the Observer Victor with Hope Dominica, and sole female monarch who took the crown in 2011, Tasha P. Peltier, who performed the song titled Father Have Mercy, are through to the semi-finals. The only foreigner in this year's competition, Trinidadian Stefan Subero, has also moved on to round 3 of the competition. Jude J.D. Delaunay, who made it to the finals for the first time last year, will also be competing in the semi-finals round this year as well. Judd Genius Dorset, who is in his 3rd year of the Calypso Big Leagues. Alicia Ducre is the second of 2 female Calypsonians making it to the semi-finals for 2018. The others who made it through to the semi-finals are veteran Calypsonians Victor Comforter Beek, Emmanuel Hicksy Salamat, Cecil Checker Burnett, Derek Luger Saintville, Daryl DeBob Bob, Murphy Psy John Jules, Jocelyn Jamabi Charles, Reginald Third Eye Lander, Abel Checo John Baptiste, Chris B. Sylvester, Nareen Trendsetter Murphy, and Wayne Shadowflow Robinson. The Calypso semi-finals is scheduled for Newtown Savannah on Saturday, 27th January. In other top stories, the negative effects of Ross University's recent dismissal of over 150 employees is starting to become more evident in the lives of those whose livelihood depended on that institution. The decision by Ross to move to Knoxville, Tennessee is due to the impact of Hurricane Maria on its facilities. When 154 employees received their redundancy letters in early January, they were told that the institution would reopen in April 2018. But that is little comfort for some of the individuals who spoke with Channel 5 News on the weekend, some of them just vendors who sell food and other services to Ross students and workers. The absence of the 1,400 students and faculty as well as local workers is starting to take its toll.
The farmers was benefiting highly from that, and everybody was benefiting from.
Farmers in the sense that you're using a lot of local produce?
Yes, a lot of local produce we've been using, and not having Ross definitely going to put us down.
Basically, you've been without Ross for 3 months plus now?
Yes, for 3 months plus now, since after the hurricane. We haven't got it. Well, all the vendors and everybody, farmers, everybody's like spinning around where to do, what to do. It's really, really tough, you know.
What's the impact on you, your own business, yourself there?
Well, my business is impacted so bad, I tell you. It's like, cannot explain really, but it's not, you can't blame anybody. It's a natural thing that happens, and we're just trying to fit it back together, but it is tough. And really and truly, we just, if we don't get help and assistance at least to push us back, we see it's more struggle.
For people like you who had a business, they're providing a service, and with the absence of the students, you've lost business. How do you think, is there a way you think the government can help you? Is there something you think they could do for you? Have you guys been discussing this? Well,
but within ourselves as vendors, we've been trying to see if we could kind of work like the group together to really go and come to the government to ask for assistance to see how it could help us even if we get in news that Ross may not be here for next year or what, but we have to find some ways and means to create employment. And for us, I get my kids to send to school, and I've got my responsibility to take care of, which I'm having difficulty with. And my garden went down, you know. I also had a little food stall in front of my house called Joyce Drive-By. That too went at the same time. So, you know, it could be it's really tough. We try to try to encourage people to look above the situation, so maybe we can figure it well, because if you have to look at the situation as is, it's really heartbroken.
What are some of your other vendors saying, those who have been working with you over the years in that same area?
Well, they have nothing. They're just like shocked. They're so shocked. They're so hurt. They're so disappointed. They don't know which way to turn. Some of them have loans that they don't know. You know, they've been hearing that the government help, but they don't know what the help is like. And it's like people is like their mind is like, you know, man, what are we gonna do? You know, it's really sad, bro. It maybe look like we have some smile on our face because we want to smile, but it's painful. We're going through. I mean, even they come and they give you a ration. Well, what does it do? I look at my little girls growing up, and I'm wondering if Dominic have a future for them. It's really heartbreaking for me because when I think about my kids and the development, watching the entire situation, it's not easy. It's not easy, and this is real, bro. This is not no makeup or I'm pretending to be. This is just real. I just want to send out the message that we don't want to sit and depend on anybody. We like the assistance where we can help ourselves.
Well, the temporary shutdown at Ross University is having very real repercussions on the lives of actual people, some of whom I have been speaking with. It's more than just statistics. People like Martha Ogaru, known affectionately as Betsy, was among the vendors at Ross until the layoffs. For these people, Hurricane Maria has come and gone, but its harsh effects linger.
I was selling fruits, vegetable, drinks, all those stuff for the students. So I there for 27 years. It was a very good time for me. I'm very sorry now that they're not there, because it was a good help to me, very good help to me. Pay my little bills at my age now. Nobody going to hire me.
Yes, that is like your retirement.
Yes. So as you see, they're not there. I tell you, I really miss them. I miss them a lot. I just there waiting to see if they'll come back. I don't know if when they come back, I will able to go back up there. If I have strength, the two legs getting weak, you know, and my eyes is not so good.
Betsy, who up until now was very self-reliant, now depends on the occasional barrel from her children based overseas.
So whatever they have, they send for me. No one then they send me a little box. Whatever they have, they give.
But you would like to be working, you like to work.
For myself, yes. Because, you know, they have their own business to do. I can't sit down and depend on them. So I prefer to work for myself.
You like to be independent?
Independent. So if I need a help, I can call them and say, look, I need a help to do such and such a thing. But not for them to buy it for me, they not do it for me on their own. I can help, they can help. You know? Students was very nice to me, very nice to me.
And leading juice vendor at Ross University, Addison Aaron, has never seen it so bad. Since the university's post-Maria shutdown, his business has also taken a serious hit. He is currently unemployed, and so are his 4 employees. You also have to factor in the passion fruit farmers and others for whom Aaron's business provided a ready local market, a market which unfortunately no longer exists.
I do local fruit juices. And we operate every day with the students when they're there. But now the students are not there. We operate maybe twice, 3 times a week, you know. And it's much different than when the students are there. You know, it's a big loss for us. We normally employ about 4 persons, but now that the students are not there, we employ nobody anymore. I do any little thing I have to do by myself, you know, because there's not enough, you know, people coming around, and so it makes no sense to employ anybody now. So at least 4 young persons have lost their job with me, you know. Yeah.
And that sort of thing is multiplied several times over.
Several times because we buy a lot of fruits.
Yes.
We buy a lot of fruits. There are some farmers we buy their whole field. The oranges especially. There are some farmers that sell all their oranges to us.
What sort of information do you have so far? Are you getting any credible information that can help you plan for the future?
None at all, because soon after the hurricane, Betsy and myself, we spent money and recover our place brand new, repaint and everything, and we were getting ready for January at least, you know. But to our surprise, there is no semester in January.
No return on the investment in the foreseeable future?
Yeah. I don't see that now, you know. And it's missed a lot, you know.
In retrospect, you might say as a businessman, you know what, had you known what was going to happen, you would have probably saved that money still, instead of spending it, yes.
I would keep it, you know, so I could eat at least bit by bit, you know what I mean? But when I didn't have no information, I went crazily and get ready for January.
It wasn't crazy. You did what a businessman would do, but with little information in terms of forecasting what's coming up.
Yes, you know. But then I fixed up for January, and then there's no students around for January. So, you know.
The impact on your family, what is that like, your immediate family?
It's hard, you know. I mean, you know, it's very hard because with the students, when the students are there, on even an average morning, you know, the kind of money you generate, you know, and to pay your farmers and do what you have to do. Now you cannot even do 1 inch of that, you know.
Aaron says besides his cubicle and Betsy's, which were repaired post-Maria, there are 18 others still in disrepair. He believes vendors will require government assistance to prepare in time for the return of the Ross students. In other news now, the Ministry of Energy is taking advantage of the passage of Hurricane Maria to advance the country's geothermal energy project. Minister for Energy Ian Douglas told Channel 5 News that the hurricane's effect on the rainforest proved helpful in moving forward with the phase 1 of the project.
And we have taken advantage of the hurricane, because what the hurricane actually did was, because it wiped away the vegetation, we could almost literally see where we want to put the pipelines and where we should run the pipelines and stuff, so we could send the drones out and actually. So we've taken advantage of the vegetation not being there to actually see where is the best path, because we have to run a pipeline from the plant itself, the small geothermal plant that extracts the steam from the ground, where we have dug our wells, from the wells to actually where the generating plant will be, the plant that converts the steam into electricity to be put on the grid. So that is the phase that we are in right now, planning that pipeline and really getting to the next phase where we can actually commercialize what we have already done, the investment that we have already placed.
Douglas pointed out that pushing ahead with the project is in keeping with government's vision of transforming Dominica into the first climate-resilient country in the world.
Geothermal falls right square into that philosophy and that ideology of climate resilience and sustainability. Climate resilience means if you have a hurricane again like Maria, you do not have to worry about the importation of diesel. The boat can't come, you can't get the diesel. Even things like your grid, the high tension wires that carry the current from the generating plants all around the country. All of those things, geothermal will greatly enhance our ability to be resilient, because geothermal will not necessarily be jeopardized by the severe climatic conditions that we have now. We are absolutely committed to making geothermal energy a reality. In fact, we are very advanced. We have set up the Dominica Geothermal Development Company, which is almost like an independent company like Dowasco or Domlec, really, to push the geothermal development. We have been getting tremendous support from the government of New Zealand. Of course, you know that they have actually sent down a project manager.
The Minister of Energy explained that due to the passage of Hurricane Maria, assessments are still being carried out on the financial impact of the geothermal project. He also noted that new deadlines will have to be set for achieving certain goals.
Well, Maria has put a number of things put us on the back foot in a number of respects, and I mean, geothermal is one of them. But I wouldn't say that it has derailed us. It just caused us to maybe delayed and not derail. So we're still on track to achieve our timelines, and even some of our partners, of our international partners, have even come on board and pledged even more support for what we're doing in light of the disaster created by Hurricane Maria. So I would say, I mean, we have to alter our plans and our timelines, but it's not, it hasn't severely impacted our ability to still achieve our purpose, which is to put geothermal on the grids in the next term, definitely.
The geothermal energy project started in 2010 with the drilling of wells in Loda and has had an initial end date of 2019. And the Dominica Association of Teachers' annual Summer Teachers Workshop for 2018 has been cancelled. This summer workshop, which is held in collaboration with the Canadian Teachers Federation for over 3 decades, was called off this year due to the passage of Hurricane Maria in 2017. Nicholas explained that the association had been hard at work looking after the well-being of its teachers, and summer would allow the teachers time to focus on their recovery.
We are not going to have any summer workshop. We're going to put it on hold because we feel that even at that time, there are many people who will not have a roof. They'll be still on the tarpaulin, and people have had a short break for the Christmas. Easter, we hardly have any break at all, and come Easter, we have our general meeting. So we think summer come that we should give there, because normally we have a 2-week program, and it is very intense. And I suppose, during that time, that is when a lot of teachers will take the opportunity to try to get things in order, put things in order, etc., or even take a rest. We will have an activity, but we are depending on the education officers of the district, because what we would like to do is to have something in every education district, just a one-day activity, but we would like the information to come from the education officer of the particular district.
Nicholas says the international community has been very helpful towards Dominican teachers and the DAT following last year's hurricane.
You see who your friends are, you see how concerned people are, and it's not just a matter of an institution. They're concerned about individuals. I mean, people that I have never met, but hear my name as president of DAT, call me personally, get my telephone number, try to make contact with me. I mean, send things for the teachers. Some of them are not even union members, but because their brothers and sisters are union members, and they talk so much about the Dominica Association of Teachers that they too decide they have to chip in. And we have been getting barrels upon barrels. We have at least, so far, we have given out about 1,000 packages so far. And we're not only giving to teachers, but individuals who have been associated with us, who have helped DAT, even, I mean, aged people, retired people. I mean, people pass sometimes and they see us packaging and they come in, they tell their stories, and we hand them a package, and I mean, it has just been tremendous from the Caribbean Union of Teachers and from Education International. All the unions together, they have submitted some money to us, and we are going to use the money to help teachers in whatever way.
The third week in January has been given as the deadline for teachers applying for financial assistance from the DAT to help rebuild their properties post-Hurricane Maria.
They have brought in their applications, and at least we're going to close by the third week in January. Of course, all applications we're going to close, because the important thing is to ensure that the money, accountability for the money. So one of the things we have asked people to do is to let us know, we need to know that the property belongs to them. And then we won't be giving people checks in their name. We are going to allow you to bring in an invoice of wherever you want to get your material, and the checks will be written out to the business place. again, accountability, because there's a meeting coming up in February with Education International and CUT. I've been invited to that meeting, all expenses paid. I want to make a presentation at that meeting for them to see that their money is well spent. Because we have to understand these are sacrifices that people have made. And when you look from the year 2015, 2016, 2017, a lot of disasters have happened. And they have had to help several people.
And the threat posed to life and property in the city from the Rosa River is continuing to be a cause for concern. Since the Rosa River has not been dredged after Hurricane Maria, it remains very prone to flooding. As was very evident recently, the accumulation of debris at the first bridge during heavy rains means flooding becomes very likely. As the rising water forges a new path, unfortunately, that path is into the city. The Prime Minister has said that the status of the Rosa River has been a cause for concern, but there were challenges sourcing the right kind of equipment to do the dredging. Just last week, Channel 5 News spoke to the CTO in Public Works, who referred us to the Permanent Secretary, Denise Edwards, who said she was not ready to speak on the matter, but said they would do so eventually. Meantime, the Parliament representative for Rosa Central has been taking stock of the situation as regards the Rosa River for some time and says it's a matter which needs to be dealt with urgently because of the threat it poses.
Right now, we are saying it's a major risk for Rosa. If we don't do it, we can't blame anybody if we face a major flooding in Rosa. Let's say more Riverbank, River Street, Kennedy Avenue, that's a risk to the immediate Rosa area there. For the last let's say, couple of weeks there now, we have equipment available. I've been talking to a lot of heavy equipment operators, and some of them, they're even complaining that the government want to actually import equipment to Dominica while they are just there sitting. So I think what the government need to do is engage those equipment operators. If, for example, it's going to cost, let's say, $100,000 to do a job, and they need, for example, basic spare part, give them duty-free on the spare part and help them so that we can at least keep some of the money in our country.
You say facilitate them?
Yeah, facilitate them, do what you have to do so that most of the money can be kept in Dominica for rebuilding the country, rather than trying to engage a lot of foreigners. Not that I'm against foreigners, but what you need to do for the money to trickle down, you need the money to stay in your country. And that's what we should be looking at.
And in sports, the Dominica Fencing Association is gearing up for participation in this year's Central American and Caribbean Games in Colombia in July and August. Fencer Marlon Marie, who has risen in the ranks of local fencing, has qualified for this year's Games in Colombia. The DFA's plans for the year ahead include training camps, local, regional and international tournaments, as well as coach training. The Dominica Fencing Association is also planning on increasing its visibility this year with the addition of a new public relations officer.
In 2017 was a big year for us because one of our fencers, Marlon Marie, qualified for the Central American and Caribbean Games, which will be held in Colombia this year. So for sure, it's a major achievement for us. Although fencing is not a very common household name here. A lot of people will think, well, fencing, what's fencing, what's that? But we are a thriving sport. It's a little sport, within sort of a larger sphere of, the general tradition of sports knowledge, football, cricket. Everybody talks about football and cricket, basketball, volleyball. But fencing is definitely an up-and-coming sport, and we're expecting good things to come in 2018. Despite Hurricane Maria, we've had several setbacks.
Lawrence says while the association's program was not affected by the hurricane, it did suffer equipment damage and some of the fencers and their families migrated. Fencing has its challenges as it competes with other more prominent sports on the island, but Lawrence is optimistic it will continue to grow.
I think for any new sport, has to compete with, with football and cricket. And of course, not too many people know about, the sport. But we have taken on a new PRO this year, so in Miss Vanessa Bruno. So we're hoping that we can have a lot more public relations information going out there.
I saw her release, although I don't remember all the details of it, but I did see her and remember that she mentioning Marie, Mr. Marie, and so on.
Yes, yes.
So for 2018, what's on the cards for this?
For 2018, well, we started our first training session last Saturday. We had a lot of equipment checked. We are expecting some new equipment from our international federation. We have a tournament in Costa Rica in March. It's the Pan American Cadet and Junior Championships, which we're hoping to participate in at least 1 or 2 fencers. We also have the Pan American Senior Championships, which will be held in Cuba in June. And the big one for us really is the Caribbean. It's the Central American and Caribbean Games, which will be held in Colombia. And fencing will be one of the 3 or 4 sports which will be part of these games.
In June 2016, Cody Morris became Dominica's first international fencer when he competed in the Pan American Senior Championships in Panama, where he achieved his first international ranking. The Dominica Fencing Association has been a member of the International Fencing Federation since December 2010 and a member of the Olympic Committee from October 2013.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001-275-5003 today.
To end the news, the headlines again: 4 former Calypso Monarchs advanced to the semi-finals. Ross layoffs begin to impact real people and livelihoods in Portsmouth. And Dominica poised to advance its geothermal energy project post-Maria. Feel free to contact us at news@marvin2k4.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel and on tdnentertainment.net. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Julian Morris, thanking you for watching. Do join us again tomorrow.